Hello everyone, welcome to the demo session of Selenium tutorial. My name is Anagha. I'll be covering a very interesting and a very popular concept in Selenium, the 8 web element locating techniques in Selenium. Okay, let's go to the agenda. I will be covering firstly the web elements and its operations, the basic method and functions the Selenium offers, what are the 8 locating techniques, and before we deep dive into each of these techniques, let's do a brief of HTML pages, attributes, elements, and tags. Next, we will actually look into each of the locating commands, followed by examples and demos. Okay, our first topic, browser elements and operations. So let's go through them. Browser. Launch browser, navigate to specific URL, refresh browser. Basically, this tells you what you can do with the browser. Before you start working on any of your application, what is the first thing you do? You launch your browser and then you launch your application. You also navigate between different pages and you do a refresh page. So all these things is what you do with the browser, and Selenium offers us a way to do that. Now let's talk about the page. We are not into elements of the pages here. So we are talking at a very higher level. So at a higher level, we have a page and there are two operations which you can do with the page. One is a get page title and also return the current URL of the page. Links. Now let's understand what these links are. Let's go to our browser and launch Amazon application. Okay, I've launched my browser. Let's go to Amazon.in. Okay, so now take a look at this panel. We have multiple links present here. Your Amazon.in, today's deal, Amazon Pay, sell, customer service. So what you do, you go and click on each of the links. So when you click on these links, it takes you to another page, which has its own functionality. So what functionalities which do we need with these links? So one is the click, which we just did, which performed a certain function like going to another page. We also can check whether a particular link is enabled or not. And also we can check the existence. Now checking for the existence of a web element is a very important thing in Selenium and in your test scripts. This is basically used whenever you write a test script. There are multiple times where you need a verification point where you look for the existence of certain element. Also, while performing certain operations on any web elements, you sometimes need to check whether they exist before you click on them or do any kind of operation. Buttons. Now, what do you do with the buttons? Click them. What else do you do with the buttons? Check the enable status. Now, for example, if you have a functionality where you have displayed terms and agreement and you expect the user to click the radio button which says accept the agreement, and then you have a submit button. So many a times in the development, what we do is we keep the submit button disabled and it gets enabled only after you accept the terms and condition. In such cases is where you can use the enable status check in Selenium. Image. So on a web page, you can see multiple images. Let's go to Amazon again. So you can see there are various kinds of images on this page. So again, there are various functions which you can perform with this image. You can click on the image. You can also return image title. Now, having an image title is subject to this title being mentioned in the code of the image. So only then you can grab the title of the image. Also, you have upload and download images. Selenium, along with a third-party tool, provides you a mechanism to upload and download images. Text area and edit box. Any e-commerce website does have a search box, a text area, or an edit box. So let's go back to Amazon again. Here. Now, for you to search any kind of categories, so this is a edit box where you enter your text. So what you do, let's try to enter something. I'll say I want to search for iPhones. I enter this text in this text box and then I click on the search button, which gives me all the options of the iPhones. So again, the functionalities of the text area, what you can perform, you can add text to this text box. You can grab the text, you can capture the text which is entered into this text box, and also you can clear this text area. Right? So how do you enter the text? There are certain functions available in Selenium called the send keys. So send keys allows you to enter certain text in the text area or your edit box, and then you can capture and return a text or clear the value of the text. Radio button and checkbox. As simple as, what do you do with them? You click on them, you check if it is enabled or disabled, and you also check on a particular element of the checkbox or the radio button. You look for whether it is selected or unselected. Drop down list box and the combo box. You can do multiple things with Selenium elements. Um, let's again go back to our Amazon and see what a drop down is. Now, in Amazon.com, if I click on this all, so it is going to show me all the categories present in this. And I can go select any of the categories. Let's say appliances. Okay. I selected the category appliances, and then I say microwave. And then I click on search. So this drop-down box allowed me to select a list from the list, one of the elements from the list. Okay, so what are the functionalities? Again, you can check whether the display status of that. You can enable or you can select the item from the box. Frames. Frame is a little complex subject, and we will cover this in the later tutorials. Let me first tell you what a frame looks like. Let me go to my browser. W3 Schools is a website which is a brilliant website where I can show you the concept of frame. So I have this page. Let me close this inspector for a minute. I will tell you what that is. Okay, so I have this page. Now if you look at this page, it looks like it is split into two portions here. Okay, so each of this split portions are called as frames. Now there are two frame concepts. One is called as frame set and one is called as iframe. Frame set is kind of an old school, and now the developers, we do not use the frame sets. However, iframes is something which the developers use to create these elements. Now for us to locate any element in this, first what we need to do is we need to identify the frame, go to the frame, and then go to the element of the frame in order to perform any operations. So we will see that in the next tutorials as how do we do the operations on the frame. So for now, let's just understand the frames are the specific areas on the web page, and in order for us to do any kind of operations on the elements, first we need to switch to that frame and then operate on the elements. Table. Table is a very popular element which is used in all web pages, and then HTML table or the web table, what you can call. For example, calendar. So if you go to any of the reservation sites, you need to select a from and to date for your flight reservation. So you get a calendar and you go and select a particular day in the calendar. So table helps us identify a specific value in the cell. You have functionalities for giving you the row count and the column count. Here are certain examples which I have mentioned, which shows you some of the operations on the elements which we talked about. Now we will look at some of the basic functions what Selenium offers, and we will also do some hands-on with these commands as we go through them. Get commands. In Selenium, we have 6 get commands. The last 2 commands which you see here belong to switch to commands, and we will talk about them a little later. Now let's see all the 6 commands in action now. So let's go to the Eclipse and create a class. So I have few other test classes which are already created, so let's ignore them for now. So what I'll do, I'll go create a new class and let's name it as test get commands. So every class you write needs to have a main. Main happens to be the first starting point in any program. So click on the public static main to be included and say finish. Alright, so let's get rid of this comment line. Okay, so before you start writing any of the commands, so first thing what you need to do, you need to launch your browser. And before even you launch your browser, you need to set certain properties. So Firefox 45 version and above uses Gecko driver. So previous to that, we were working only with the Firefox driver and it did not had the need of using a Gecko driver. But the Firefox version which I am using today is Firefox 65 and hence I need to use the Gecko driver. So I have already imported the Gecko driver in my lib folder here. So what I need to do in my class is to do a set property to point to this Gecko driver. I have already written a piece of code. Let me just copy it from one of my previous example so that I don't need to rewrite that again. So this particular line, system.setProperty, this is basically setting a property for your driver. Okay, let's go to testcommand.java and I will do this. All right. Now let's quickly instantiate our WebDriver. WebDriver is equal to new Firefox driver. Okay. All right. So let me get its declaration here. Okay, there is a spell mistake here. It's still asking for something. Import Firefox driver 2. Okay, we're good to go. Alright, so now I've instantiated the driver. So next is to set the URL which we want to work with. Okay, so I would say driver.get. Now take a look at this. So the moment I say .get, so it lists me all the get commands available. So you really don't need to remember each and every command in Selenium. So you see all the 6 commands here. So let's go ahead and use the first one. So I would say get, and the argument what we are going to pass is a fully formed URL. So we need to be very careful here. One of the best practices what you can do is always go to your website, do a copy paste of the URL and come and paste it here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to my Firefox. Let's use Amazon. Amazon.in. Okay, I'm going to copy this URL and paste it in the double quotes. All right. So I have set my URL. Now let's take the next command, driver.getTitle. So I just type get and I will go to the get title command and double click and finish the line. Now, what does this get title give us? It is going to give us the title of the website. It is a string and hence we need to store this value into a string variable. So I'm going to define a string variable, string, let's say page title equal to driver.getTitle. Fine. And now I'm going to print this page title on our console. So what's the print statement in Java? System.out.println. Right? So here I would say the title of the page is concatenated with the variable page title. Done? Okay. And then we will also do a close browser. Now there are 2 commands in the close browser. One is .close and one is .quit. So I would be using driver.quit. So this will close all my instances of Firefox. Okay, so this program is ready. So what we will do with these 2 commands, we'll first execute this script and see how it works. Okay. Now I'm going to right click on this and say run as Java application. So let's see what happens now. So you can ignore all that warning. It's a Firefox warning. Okay, the browser is launched. Amazon.application is launched. It is going to be fetching the title now, and it is closed. Okay, so now look into this console window. Okay, so these are all the warnings of the Firefox, which you can conveniently ignore for now. The title. The system.out.println statement has printed this title. The title of the page is Online Shopping Site in India. Shop online for mobiles, books, watches, shoes, and more. Okay, let's go and verify this. Okay, this is our URL. And if you hover your mouse on this, do you see that? Online shopping site in India. Right? Okay, let's minimize this. Alright, so far this program has worked pretty well. So what did we do now? We exercised two commands. One is the driver.get and one is the driver.getTitle. Now let's try the get current URL command. Okay, so let me comment of the driver.quit. I do not want the browser to quit. Alright, so now if I try to use the get current URL directly here, what is the URL I'm going to get? Is the same one which we have set, which is amazon.in. So rather, to demonstrate what I will do, I will try to navigate to some other web page and then capture the URL. Let's go to amazon.in and say what I'll do is I'll go into your amazon.in, which is a login page for me, and then we will try to grab this URL. So to enable me to do that, I need to inspect this element and do a click operation on that. Okay, so what I will do is I will launch my inspector and then select your Amazon. Okay, so I will use the link text here, which is your amazon.in. I'll copy this text and let me go back to my Eclipse. So here I'm going to write a piece of code which will click on this particular link, driver.findelement by dot link text and I will provide my link text here and I'll finish the line. Okay, so this is giving me an error. So let's see what the error is about. So I'm opening this bracket, doing the link text here. Okay, and I would say dot okay, this I've closed. I'll find element closed and I'll say click. Okay, that's it. So once I click on this, it's going to take me to the next URL. So here I'll write the code driver.get current URL. Again, like the previous one, this is going to return me a string. So let's define a string variable. String current URL equal to driver.current URL, and we will print it. System.out.println in the quotes, the URL is concatenated and the variable current URL. Okay, close. Alright, and then let's bring back this code of driver.quit. Okay, let's save this and let's try to run this program. So run as Java application. The browser is launched. The amazon.in application is being launched. Okay, it has recognized amazon.in and it is quit. Alright, so now let's look at the console output here. Okay, let me expand this. Okay, so the first one what we are fetching is the title of the page, which previously we got so. And now it fetched the current URL, which is on that sign-in page. Can you see this URL? A long URL. Okay, so let's go and check whether this URL is correct. Oh, okay, let me check it here. So let me close the inspector. I went on your amazon.in. Let's look at this. Let's look at few characters of this. It says rec underscore intes title sign in. Let me go back to the console and just do a quick check here. Or I can copy it and do a quick search on the text. Okay, there you go. Can you see this? So it has fetched the right URL. Alright, so what's the next command we have to get the page source? So I will not be demonstrating that. I would rather want you to go back and try. Do your coding on the similar lines. So instead of doing the driver.get, what you're going to do is driver.get source URL. So I'll type the command for you here and you can go ahead and try it out. So again, it's a string. I would say page source equal to driver.get page source. That is it. You can run this program, and what this does is it is going to capture the complete source page of the current URL into your page source variable. Okay, now let's look at some of the navigation commands. So navigate to another URL is very similar to the get command. The syntax is driver.navigate and to the URL which you want to navigate. Navigate back, navigate forward, and navigate refresh. Let's try to do some hands-on on these commands. So let's go back to the same example and let's add some navigation commands there. So let me first comment out our driver.quit, the page source, or rather let me remove this completely. Okay, alright. So now in this example, we said we are going to be clicking on amazon.in and then we would be traversing to another link there, which is your login page, right? And then what I'll do, I will use a navigation command to return back to the amazon.in page. Okay, let's try to do this. Go back to your class. So after this, I'm going to write driver.navigate, that's a function, dot back. That is it. Okay. So this should bring me back to the home page of Amazon. So let's run this and see. And I'm not going to be closing the browser so that we get to see whether it is navigated back or not. Okay, I'll right click, run the program as Java application. Okay. Amazon.in is loaded. Navigating to the login page and navigated back. So do you see that? We are back onto the home page. So any errors in the script? No. We are still fetching the title, so it has shown us the title and it is navigated back to the Amazon homepage. So these are very simple commands which we can use in your programs, navigating forward, backward, and let's try one more. Let's say navigate to functionality. Let's try to use it. So once we come back to the Amazon page, let's say driver.navigate to and URL. Okay, so in the double quotes. Now, as I previously also mentioned, it should be a fully formed URL. So let's say we want to navigate to yahoo.com. So let me go to the Yahoo page and copy the URL. Okay. yahoo.in. Okay, this is my URL. I copy that, come back to my Eclipse and paste it here. All right, let's save this and run it. Okay, it's taking us to the login page and it is navigating us to the Yahoo. Yes. All right. So this is how we use the navigation commands in Selenium. Now let's come back to our slides. All right. So now we have exercised the get commands, the browser commands. We saw the driver.quit and driver.close, and also we looked at how the navigation commands work. Now there are other basic commands like find element, send keys, and click commands, some of which I've already used in the script. We would be looking in detail into each of this command as we progress further.